Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled and very, very good.
Hermès products are made in China. Towels are from Fuji in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA. Beddings are from Yue in Shandong. Men's shoes are from Shachi in Shandong. Tableware are from Gaochun in Jiangsu.
First time shopping at Hermès, and let me tell you how it went.
We got a lot of requests, do Hermès next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park.
Italy, made in China. Or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way. Because some brands get real creative when it comes to...
Hermès is freaking out, and for good reason. The luxury fashion beast just got exposed in the worst way, and the fashion world is flipping. The same Chinese factories that everyone thought were just copying designer bags? Turns out, they were the ones making the real deal this whole time. We're talking actual Birkins and Kellys, the ones Hermès sells for $20,000 a pop. And now, those factory workers are spilling everything, and it's shaking the whole luxury game to the core. These aren't fake bags. These are the actual bags, the ones sold as made in France. But here's the twist. It's all a smoke show. From shady production shortcuts to leaked proof and TikToks going viral, the mask is off. And Hermès? They're scrambling to control the chaos, but it's too late. The secret's out, and the brand's carefully curated image is falling apart. Let's break it down. For years, Hermès has been selling us this fantasy of handcrafted bags stitched by delicate hands in dreamy Parisian workshops.
Finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every...
You know the image. Some expert artisan in a crisp white coat, working leather under soft lighting with a bit of smooth jazz in the background. Sounds fancy, right? Well, that's fake too. Insiders and the receipts from Tanner Leatherstein just dropped a bomb. Up to 80% of these so-called made-in-France bags are actually produced in China. We're talking leather cutting, stitching, threading, the whole thing. Then they're shipped off to France, where Hermès just adds a little hardware or a stamp, and bam! Made in France, that's the hustle. So when the Chinese factories started spilling tea and dropping receipts, Hermès completely lost it. Enter Tanner Leatherstein, the ultimate whistleblower in the luxury world. This isn't just some random guy chasing clout on TikTok. Nah, he's a legit leather expert with a cult following who buys high-end designer bags just to cut them open on camera.
So Hermès has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
And what he finds inside? Straight up scandalous. Tanner's been out here wrecking reputations. He went after Chanel first. And guess what? That real gold hardware you thought you were paying for? Fake. He exposed them for using plastic-coated leather and cheap materials. Then he took aim at Louis Vuitton, Bottega Veneta, and of course, Hermès. And every time, the truth just kept getting messier. He dropped the mic when he revealed that the leather in these so-called luxury bags, it's the same kind of stuff you'd find in a $100 knockoff. He even calculated that the cost of making a Birkin is only around $600. Not $14,000, not $38,000, just $600. And that includes good leather and metal hardware. Now picture Hermès execs watching all this unfold. Viral video after viral video, millions of views stacking up and realizing the cover's blown.
Spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Because it turns out those Chinese factories weren't just churning out dupes. They were producing the actual bags for Hermès. And then they flipped the script and exposed everything. They revealed that 80% of the production is done in China. The stitching, the cutting, the prep, all of it. Only the final touches are done in France. Meanwhile, Hermès rakes in massive profits by selling the dream of French luxury, while the real work gets buried behind closed doors. So what does Hermès do now that the truth's out? Do they take accountability? Admit the scheme? Apologize? Nope. They go full legal attack mode.
Almost finished bags from China factories, back to their own factories, and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that.
Hermès is out here filing lawsuits left and right, dragging multiple Chinese factories to court for misusing intellectual property and defamation. Translation: they're mad those factories told the truth. Like, how dare you expose that our bags aren't really made in France? But here's the wild part. Those factories weren't doing anything illegal. They were under contract with Hermès and other high-end brands. They were officially making the bags. Now that they've exposed the behind-the-scenes truth, Hermès is acting brand new, like they've never even heard of these manufacturers before. Suddenly, it's all "we don't know them" energy.
Chinese supply behind product. Bags are from Sitong Handbag in Dongguan City, Guangdong Province. It's a factory specializing in handbags for 54 years, and it produces 80% of the world luxury bags.
Really? Let's break this down with simple math. Hermès raked in $15.2 billion in 2024. That's millions of bags sold worldwide. But here's the problem. If it supposedly takes 2 full days to handcraft just one Birkin bag, where's this invisible army of French workers doing all that labor? Where are they hiding all these magical Parisian ateliers? 'Cause the math ain't mathing, and Hermès ain't the only one playing this game. Prada, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, they're all doing it too. They get 98% of the work done in China, then throw on a zipper or stamp from Italy just so they can legally slap on that Made in Italy tag. It's a straight-up marketing hustle, a luxury illusion, and people have been falling for it for years just because of the European prestige. Now that the truth is out there, the resale game is crashing, and fast. People are waking up to the fact that they dropped $25,000 on a bag made in the same exact factory as a $400 dupe. And thanks to Tanner, more of those so-called calfskin bags are being sliced open, only to reveal they're actually made of GPU-coated leather. Not premium, not luxe, just dressed-up plastic. Collectors are getting shook, and buyers? Straight up furious. If Hermès and other big names aren't really about quality or expert craftsmanship, then what did people pay for? The brand illusion. That little logo and a dream, nothing more. For years, Western luxury brands pushed the lie that made in China means low quality. But that mindset? It's outdated.
Making his boots in China. And that is these boots right here. This is pretty much the UGG boot that like most Americans will have in their house. I was very pissed off when I found out the truth because I grew up in Southern California. I remember being in elementary school when I would only see 2 people in the entire school wearing UGG boots, and they were always the cool surfer.
Today's Chinese factories are no joke. They've got the tech, the skills, and the top-tier materials to produce world-class leather goods. A ton of mid-range and luxury items, including knockoffs, are all made under the same roofs. Same machines, same materials, just different tags slapped on the end product. So when someone says a bag's made in China, don't write it off. In fact, it might be better than what's being passed off as French craftsmanship. For real. There are even wild stories floating around of people getting their hands on factory extras. Exact same bags, same materials, just no logo. One creator even said she snagged boots from the same factory as the branded ones.
I cut open, just expensive, nothing special. But if you truly accept.
And guess what? They only cost her $5. The only thing missing? The label. But here's where it gets even messier. Influencers are quietly backing out of brand deals. Yeah, some of the biggest names in fashion content have stopped tagging Hermès, Chanel, or Louis Vuitton altogether. They don't want to be caught promoting a product that just got exposed as a luxury scam. Nobody wants to be the face of a brand that's getting roasted online for playing the Made in France charade while outsourcing almost everything overseas. Behind closed doors, even some stylists and celebrity shoppers are warning clients to hold off on big luxury buys, at least until the dust settles.
As humbling as your daughter drawing on your $60,000 Birkin, am I right?
Yeah. I couldn't even be mad at her because when I asked her, I was like, I wanted to see if she was gonna tell me the truth. I was like, Coach, did you draw on mommy's purse?
Literally spent $60,000 on this purse. Look what my daughter did to my purse.
Cause who wants to drop tens of thousands just to end up on the wrong side of a viral TikTok teardown? And guess who's loving all this chaos? The dupe market. Sellers on resale platforms and underground sites are seeing spikes in demand. People are realizing that if it's the same leather, the same stitching, the same factory, why pay 20 grand when you can pay a few hundred? It's flipping the power dynamic in a big way.
Where I keep all my purses. This one here is really special. If my house is on fire, I would take this one out of all of them.
Luxury used to be about exclusivity. Now it's about exposure. Every secret coming out makes these brands look less like elite craftsmen and more like clever marketers with deep pockets. The illusion's breaking down and the streets are watching real close. One more slip-up, and that iconic label might never recover. And just when you think it can't go any further, boom, now ex-employees are speaking out.
I bought the latest Hermès bag with me. This is my first bag I got this year. I usually get one bag a year, and this is the one for this year. And I'm really excited about it.
People who used to work for luxury houses are anonymously leaking info on Reddit, Discord, even in interviews with fashion YouTubers. They're spilling everything from fake waitlists to staged artisan workshops used for showroom tours. One insider even claimed, the only real part of the Birkin experience is the waiting. The rest is marketing fluff. Some ex-workers say they were trained to say things like, every stitch is done by hand in France, knowing full well the bags came from a Chinese factory the week before. It's a performance, not a process. And now that the script's been flipped, consumers are waking up fast. Meanwhile, Hermès and the rest of the luxury gang are still posting dreamy campaign videos of models in silk scarves sipping espresso on Paris rooftops.
Hermès, they say, hey, I want to buy one of these. You know what they say to you? No, we don't have them. First of all, you have to be Hermès customers. You have to demonstrate that you like the brand, and then you can only buy one per year.
While TikTok's tearing down their reputation one bag at a time, it's like two totally different worlds, and only one of them is telling the truth. What's wild is that this whole scandal isn't just about fashion. It's about trust, about how much people are willing to believe in a brand's story, even when the facts say otherwise. That's why this shakeup feels so personal to so many, because when the bag loses its story, it loses its power. And that's what's really blowing up right now. Western media's been feeding people the same tired message for years. China equals cheap, Europe equals luxury.
Speaking to this client here regarding selling her Birkin 30 Gris Ethane, if I'm not wrong. Gris Ethane is the color, and it's palladium hardware. The bag is in box fresh condition, but it's SUES stamp, which means it's a 2021.
But when you actually dig into it, it's all just slick marketing and smoke screens. These brands aren't run by old-school craftsmen in candlelit studios. They're corporate machines, backed by private equity firms, pushing overpriced goods onto folks who just don't know any better. But now that consumers are waking up, the whole industry's freaking out. And Tanner Leatherstein? He's not here to sell you anything. He doesn't work for these brands, and he's not pushing some dupe line either. He's just showing the raw truth. No filter, no fluff.
Is wearing a fake Louis Vuitton fanny pack and she didn't know it. I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why I know that this Louis Vuitton bag is
The man literally sliced open his own $1,800 wallet collection just to show people what's really inside. And guess what he found? Disappointment every single time. But let's keep it real for a second. These designer brands wouldn't be anywhere without celebrities parading their bags like trophies. You think they just woke up one day and decided to buy 10 Birkins for fun? Nope. Most of those bags were gifted or part of a paid promo. That's called strategic placement. Brands hand Cardi B a $60,000 Birkin. She posts it on IG, and boom. Every influencer and hype chaser wants one too.
Your mom is real. Don't love me because of no diamonds. Take all this. This bracelet right here look real as a. This shit was $23 on Amazon.
You're not just buying a bag, you're buying celebrity approval. Remember when Kylie Jenner gave that Hermès closet tour? The internet lost it. But real question, how many of those bags were even bought with her own money? And more importantly, were they even made in France? Or stitched up in some back room in Shenzhen? And it's not just celebs anymore. Influencers are in on it too, running the same playbook. TikTok and Instagram are flooded with flashy unboxing videos and luxury hauls. But let's keep it a buck. Most of those bags, they're either gifted through PR drops or part of brand collabs. These influencers are stacking money just for showing off designer bags they didn't even buy. And in the process, they're pushing this message that you need a luxury bag to matter. That without one, you're invisible. Meanwhile, the brands? They're cashing in hard, selling a $600 bag for $26,000 just because it showed up on your FYP with dramatic lighting and a voiceover. Let's talk about the biggest trap of them all, the Birkin hustle. Somewhere along the way, owning a Birkin turned into the ultimate status flex. But here's the twisted part. You can't even walk in and buy one. Nope. Hermès plays the long game. You gotta build a so-called purchase history, which means spending thousands on scarves, shoes, or random stuff you don't need just to be considered for the chance to buy a Birkin. That's not luxury. That's a luxury cult. And people are still lining up like it's an honor to get picked. Then there's the resale circus. A few years ago, people were flipping Birkins like hot real estate. But now, after Tanner's exposés and the leaked factory info, those prices are sliding fast. If the exclusivity ain't real, the quality's in question, and the same factories are making the dupes. Why would anyone still pay retail? Now resellers are panicking, investors are pulling back, and folks are starting to realize these bags might not be the gold mine they thought they were. Here's something wild. A lot of your favorite celebs and influencers, they're actually rocking dupes, not the real thing. But they still tag the luxury brands like it's legit. Why? Simple. They want to stay trendy without draining their bank accounts. Some insiders even claim that stylists purposely buy fakes, slap on the designer tag, and ride the clout wave all the way to Fashion Week invites. Yeah, let that sink in. The system rewards the illusion, not the real thing. It doesn't matter if the bag is fake, as long as it looks expensive. So the next time you see your fave dripping in Hermès, Chanel, or LV, don't assume it's real, or that they even care if it is. It's not about quality, it's about that branding. That label is what sells, not the bag itself. So who's actually winning here? The brands, still raking in millions. The celebs, collecting checks and flexing on socials. The influencers, getting flown out, gifted boxes, and red carpet invites. And you? You're the one dropping a month's rent just to keep up with a lie. Ask yourself, are you really buying luxury? Or are you buying into an illusion crafted by people who didn't even pay for what they're promoting? And now it's getting even messier. Hermès isn't just sweating behind closed doors anymore. They're going full legal attack mode. The brand is allegedly suing multiple Chinese factories for exposing the truth. Not one or two, but a wave of lawsuits. Accusations like defamation and misuse of intellectual property are being thrown around heavy. Looks like they're trying to silence anyone who dares to talk. Let's be real. Hermès isn't mad because the info's wrong. They're mad because they got caught. And the timing? Couldn't be worse. With the US slapping down aggressive tariffs on Chinese imports, global brands are being forced to show their cards. And guess who's sweating the most? Hermès. Because when most of your so-called French craftsmanship is actually coming out of factories in Shenzhen, yeah, you've got a serious problem. This whole scandal cracked open a much deeper issue. Luxury isn't about quality anymore. It's about perception, illusion. And once that illusion starts to shatter, the whole empire begins to shake. Hermès isn't just trying to protect its image, it's fighting for survival. Because if the truth keeps spreading, people won't just question Hermès, they'll question everyone. Louis Vuitton, Prada, Chanel, all of them. The moment that Made in France label stops meaning anything, that's when luxury starts losing its power. And that's exactly what these brands are terrified of. That sparkle, it's fading fast. Now Hermès is panicking, throwing lawsuits like confetti, blaming the factories, playing defense. But let's be honest. The genie's out the bottle, and the internet don't forget. Ever. So now that you know the truth, would you still drop $20,000 on a bag that came out the same factory building as your Amazon package? Or worse, a DH-Gate dupe? If you just side-eyed your favorite luxury brand, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more fashion drama, insider tea, and receipts that go deeper than the tags on your tote. And sound off in the comments. Should celebs be held accountable for pushing overpriced products? And tell us straight up, are luxury brands still worth it? This rabbit hole? It goes deep. And trust me, the next video, it's just as wild.